Okay, just the other day, right? I was sitting around, sipping on that drink, right? Then I get these old-timey videos in my recommendations, and let's take it back to the 1960s, a time of war, political assassinations, and alleged moon landings. I'm on to you, NASA. Weren't things just so much better back then? If you really look at something from a particular time period, it really shows just how far society has changed. Kids, you better be fully saddled up. You saddled up? Alright then, we're about to go in. Our first video up is a PSA called Boys Beware. Spoiler alert, the name kinda gives it away. Alright, looks like we're starting out with, place in, Who Gives a Fucksville.
I'm Lieutenant Williams, a police officer attached to the Juvenile Division. I'm on my way to Monroe Junior High School to talk to a group of young people. That looks innocent enough, doesn't it? Lots of young people hitchhike. Seems like a good way to get from one place to another.
God damn, did kids really hitchhike like that back then? Fuck, this might have actually been an epidemic. No, seriously, was this like an actual thing? This is a genuine question.
But sometimes there are dangers involved that never meet the eye. Let's take the case of Jimmy Barnes. Jimmy played baseball all afternoon and he didn't feel like walking home, so he decided to thumb a ride. And it only seemed minutes before they pulled up in front of Jimmy's house. When Jimmy got out, the stranger gave him a friendly pat. Then he told him he'd see him again.
Would you trust this man with your children? Okay, hypothetically speaking, wouldn't the kid's parents see him pull up in a car with a strange man inside it? Even if they didn't, wouldn't they ask how he got home so fast? This was shot in 1961, so at the very least, his mom is pretty much guaranteed to be at home 24/7. You're kind of just setting your child up to be kidnapped at this point. I'm not defending the child raper, right? But I'm just saying.
Sure enough, the following day, when finished playing ball, well, the man was there waiting. They stopped at a drive-in and the stranger treated him to a Coke. During their conversation, he told several off-color jokes, but Jimmy had heard others before, and, well, it made him feel big to so easily win the confidence of an older person.
Hey, yep, no, I'm not so sorry for that. Whoa, that must say this never didn't exist. Whoa, wake up.
The following Saturday, they went fishing together. By now, they were using first names. Ralph said it was more friendly. Jimmy hadn't enjoyed himself so much in a long time. Then during lunch, Ralph showed him some pornographic pictures. Jimmy knew he shouldn't be interested, but, well, he was curious. What Jimmy didn't know was that Ralph was sick, a sickness that was not visible like smallpox, but no less dangerous and contagious, a sickness of the mind. You see, Ralph was a homosexual.
Okay, whoa. Shit, we're really just gonna delve into the assumption that all pedophiles are somehow, like, gay. Okay? Pretty sure straight child molesters exist too. And, they aren't all male. If any femmes down here wanna do some child raping to me, that would be fine. Like, even if you hate gay people, even if you don't like gay people, just saying that homosexuality and pedophilia are the same thing is just kind of dishonest. Anyway, the rest of the video is sort of boring, so I think we just move on. Life lesson, never go outside because rapers exist. So the next video on our queue is another one aimed at children. It's called Lunchroom Manners. Why are all the names of short films back then so generic?
Just before lunch one day, a puppet show was put on at school. It was called Mr. Bungle Goes to Lunch. In the puppet show, Mr. Bungle came to the boys' room on his way to lunch. He looked at his hands. His hands were dirty.
That monstrosity is supposed to be entertaining children? Ugh.
And his hair was messy. But Mr. Bungle didn't stop to wash his hands or comb his hair. He went right to lunch. Then, instead of getting into line at the lunchroom, Mr. Bungle pushed everyone aside and went right to the front.
Wow, Mr. Bungle is a total asshole.
Then, in the lunchroom, Mr. Bungle was so clumsy and impolite that he knocked over everything, and no one wanted to sit next to him. And when he finally knocked his own tray off the table, that was the end of the puppet show. The children knew that even though Mr. Bungle was funny to watch, he wouldn't be much fun to eat with. Phil knew that a Mr. Bungle wouldn't have many friends. He wouldn't want to be like Mr. Bungle. Later, Miss Brown said it was time for the children who ate in the cafeteria to go to lunch. She hoped there weren't any Mr. Bungles in this room. On his way to catch up with his friends, Phil almost walked past the boys' room, but he stopped and thought. Were his hands clean? No, they were a little dirty. Phil remembered that Mr. Bungle didn't wash his hands. Mr. Bungle's hair was messy, too. Phil didn't want to be like Mr. Bungle. Inside the boys' room, Phil was surprised to see some of his friends washing their hands, too.
Wait, why would he be surprised by another boy washing their hands? That seems pretty standard to me. Okay.
Phil washed his hands well, with lots of soap. There was a line of children waiting to get into the lunchroom when Phil got there. He saw some boys he knew at the front of the line. They waved for him to go up to the front with them. But Phil didn't want to break into line as Mr. Bungle did.
What a square. Look at Phil thinking he's better than everyone else because he falls in line. Screw the conformists, man.
He always enjoyed looking at the good food in the cafeteria. It tasted good and was good for him, too.
What kind of propaganda is this? Are they brainwashing kids into thinking that school lunches are actually edible? Did I hear that right? Who knows, maybe school food was passable back then.
Instead of having a sandwich today, Phil decided to take the hot lunch.
Oh shit, I take back everything I said about Phil. Phil is he's a hot lunch pimp.
Phil took some bread and butter, too.
Bread and butter. Damn, Phil. This guy's gonna be miles deep in the poos.
And he knew what else he wanted.
Let's be honest. You know he was going for little Sally.
At the end of the line, the lunchroom supervisor said she had noticed how polite Phil was.
Let me
she
smash.
smiled at him. He put his tray down carefully, pulled out his chair quietly, and sat down.
What a fine young savage.
And make sure you're dabbing on them haters.
Phil drank his milk carefully. Some children are messy when they drink milk, but not Phil.
I realize just how small the schools are in general. The one classroom they have is connected to the cafeteria. That's kind of unheard of now. Like I said before, this video really shows just how much everyday school life now starkly contrasts school life back then.
Are you like Mr. Bungle? Mr. Bungle is a shame because he spoils lunchtime. Don't be like Mr. Bungle. Have good lunchtime manners, and lunch will be more fun for everyone.
Alright, I don't even know what this video is called, and I really don't want to know. Just keep in mind that this was a commercial meant to sell cereal to little children.
Breakfast.
Oh, hell no. Fuck that clown shit. I think I was fine with Mr. Bungle, who thought this was a good idea.
I'm hungry. Take it from Carinkles. That's me.
Who thought it was a good idea to market cereal with Pennywise as your mascot.
The best breakfast under the big top is post-sugar rice Carinkles. So crinkly, so delicious, so different. Each grain of rice in sugar rice Carinkles is carinkled with honey and sugar.
Yeah, I think I'll stick with Rice Krispies. I'll watch your new movie though.
Hey, you know the 60s? Boob tube meant television.
I'm gonna go take a space dookie. I'm out of here for now. You know that moment when your broad fucks up your meal and you have to restrain yourself from smacking her?
Wonderful anniversary, dear, and thank you for the flowers.
You're welcome, darling. But if you could do one thing for me,
What?
try to do something about your coffee.
I hoped it would be better today.
If you're like me and countless other men, you probably want to look into a short film called Efficiency in the Kitchen.
In this age of increasing leisure, new devices are found daily to make our lives easier. And the equipment you see on display is designed to lighten the burdens of cooking and housework.
Yes, very nice too. But you don't need all this expensive gadgetry in order to have a well-run home.
We asked Gilbert Harding to be here on account of his strong views on many subjects.
Okay. I like how they picked him based on having strong views on many subjects. That's a tad bit vague, don't you think? I mean, I have strong views on many subjects as well. Why the hell am I not on the boob tube?
So let's hear what he has to say.
Well, I'm here because I loathe muddle and I can't stand waste. And in many houses, there's far too much of both. I want to show how they can be simply and inexpensively avoided. First of all, let's see what's good about it. The sink's in the right
God
place.
damn, this man is serious. He's got like a pointer in the shit.
I always get knocked flying. It happens all the time.
And you're prepared to let it go on happening. Why don't you do something about it?
But most of these women need a firm fist, you know. They need a firm hand to keep them in their place. I'm getting a judgy vibe from this guy. He's one of those people that constantly has a concerned look on his face and shit. And it's very disconcerting, I'm just gonna say that.
Look at the number of journeys she's making. The meat's done, so there's a trip from the cooker to the table. Then to the cupboard for gravy browning and a jug and a dish for the meat. Meat in the oven to keep warm. Mix the gravy at the sink. Gravy into the grill pan and boil it up at the cooker. Now the custard. Saucepan from the cupboard to the stove. Milk from the larder into the saucepan on the stove and put the empty bottle by the sink. Sugar, custard powder and a bowl, all from the cupboard to the table. Add the sugar to the milk and mix the custard at the table and look out, the milk's boiling.
There. Not bad, was it?
Not bad. It was dreadful.
Damn, putting women in their place again. That's why your supper's always cold. He planned out a kitchen so easily that even a woman could follow along. Oh golly, isn't that just swell, fellas?
Attention to modern needs and sound planning principles have transformed it into a comfortable and well-run home.
That's all very well, but what about the homes of today and tomorrow? Have our designers learned nothing from the mistakes of the past? Or is a new generation of housewives going to use this marvelous, shiny equipment in the same old muddled way?
Well, it's pretty obvious that the housewives of today learned absolutely nothing.
This one has been planned from the beginning according to the principles we've mentioned. The washing machine is kept close to the sink so that there's no need to carry water about for filling or emptying. The door of the cooker opens away from the window so as not to cast a shadow in the oven. The heat-resisting worktops are on either side of the cooker. The right-hand one is 3 feet from the floor, the other is 3 inches lower, as this has been found more convenient for some jobs like chopping and pastry making. The pan shelf over the cooker is at a convenient height. Cupboards and drawers, both above and under the work surfaces, are for cutlery, kitchen utensils and so on, kept so that they're found where they're needed for use. And things that are used together are always stored together. Most meals are eaten at this table, placed against the wall so as not to obstruct movement across the kitchen. But this serving hatch, with drop table on the far side, is used when meals are taken in the sitting room. There's a well-ventilated larder, and next to it, the 2 cupboards with sliding doors contain ironing board, brooms, other house cleaning materials, and the vacuum cleaner, thus completing a perfect, modern, labor-saving kitchen.
Just a minute. You sound like a TV commercial. I want to know what the person who does all the work thinks about it.
Me? Oh, I like it. Everything's just where I want it.
Satisfied, Mr. Harding?
No, indeed, I'm not.
Damn, life lesson. Apparently women have absolutely no agency and clearly can't make their own decisions. Like, he literally asked her what she thought just so that he could shoot it down. What the fuck?
You show that it's a perfectly simple matter to design a kitchen, that it's a pleasure rather than a torture to work in, and it isn't just a question of money, it's a question of thought. Yet millions of women in this country are being tortured. Their housework exhausts them and takes up every minute of their working day, and all because their homes aren't properly planned. It's the business of those who build houses to think of the housewife's job and see that the home is planned so that she can do it properly.
Conclusion, women, you need to stop torturing yourselves and just let men do all the thinking. Your job is in the kitchen, but you can't even do that properly. Okay, we talked about housewives. We talked about kids. We talked about men that like kids. So before this video gets too long, there is one more topic we have to address.
Smoke weed every day.
It is genuinely fascinating watching anti-drug propaganda. What makes our last video so interesting is that it was shot before Nixon's war on drugs and eventually Reagan's and like what we have today.
America's public enemy #1 in the United States is drug abuse.
As I speak, like as I'm talking right now, I have yet to watch this clip. So we're kind of gonna experience this together. I'm a tad nervous, but you're gonna get my live reaction. Uno, dos, tres. Damn! Check out them badasses.
No matter how or for what reason you're called to investigate a situation in a residence, use your eyes.
Be alert. Stay alert. Remain alert.
Hashish or narcotic violations.
Bro, did you just let...
In one sense, you might say a room is...
You don't just let a cop in like that.
For example, inexperienced eyes would probably overlook the valid evidence of marijuana and hashish use that are apparent on this...
Hashish.
But in the law
That's a
of
funny
evidence,
word.
You can't guess. You have to be sure. And the logical evidence to look for is a partly consumed marijuana cigarette.
Marijuana cigarette.
Joint. One that has been partly smoked is called a roach.
That's such a cringy term. Like, it's technically correct, but like...
And the butt of an ordinary cigarette.
Marijuana cigarette.
Note the burned end of the ordinary cigarette. Cigarette tobacco contains a burning agent that keeps the tobacco ignited and burning smoothly. Result? Fine gray ash and an evenly burned end. Marijuana has no such burning agent mixed with it.
Wow, you're just getting on it because it's darker. What the frick? This ain't right. This ain't right.
Irregularly burned butt. Note this burned hot spot in the paper. Unrefined marijuana, called unmanicured, often contains seeds. Marijuana seeds burn very hot, often exploding like tiny bombs through the paper.
True, true, true.
These bomb craters are clearly visible even at a distance to those who use their eyes. This, of course, is marijuana itself, the best evidence of all. It has distinctive characteristics. Learn them. Use your eyes. It also has a distinctive aroma. So use your nose as well as your eyes. Marijuana has a sweet, musty odor that is easy to identify. Knowing this, pot smokers often try to hide.
You might want to just a little huff, you know, just to make sure. That's all you need. Just one hit.
incense burners in a room should be noted. Color block of hashish.
Hashish.
A stumbling block that may trip unsuspecting marijuana smokers and send them tumbling into the horrors of hard narcotic addiction. Imported from narcotics-producing nations abroad,
Damn, gateway drug.
Concentrated mind-warping substance is, by volume, 8 to 10
Weed
times
is poison.
as marijuana grass.
You hear that?
Hashish does not burn like tobacco. It smolders slowly like 4th of July punk when lighted.
Great analogy.
Consequently, a very small amount will get a smoker very high and keep him that way for a long time. What's a small square of tinfoil doing here? Strange as it may seem, such squares of foil are strong evidence that hashish is being smoked on the premises. Only educated eyes would recognize this bored wooden block as prima facie.
Is that paraphernalia?
Here's how it works.
Oh my.
The tinfoil is pressed into the small bored hole in the homemade pipe to protect the wood from the heat. Then the foil is punctured to let smoke pass through. A small load of hashish is pressed into the tinfoil and lit. And another potential narcotics victim floats out of the world of reality toward a midnight of eventual regret and despair.
Okay. No one I know that smoked weed has ever really, like, regretted it, I would say.
You are called to investigate a residential situation.
Stay alert. Remain alert. Be alert. Alright, that last clip was alright. Not as keck as I would have hoped, but hey, you know. Okay, listen, it's the end of the video. You already know what to do. Like, I guess. Share if you do that kind of shit. I don't fucking know. Okay. I don't fucking know. Don't forget to subscribe. That's important. What do I need to do after this video? I don't know. I'll probably just sleep. Probably just do a lot of sleeping.
Sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour.